using Santana to communicate Satan's age-old lie that we are gods.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want to get tapped into what he's doing.
And what you're going to see with regard to Jimi Hendrix is that not only did he admit to being demon-possessed, but he admitted that his music had just come out of him and that it affected other people because these demons were using his music. And Jimi Hendrix, even decades after he died, Rolling Stone put him on the front cover of one of their magazines and touted him as the greatest guitarist of all time. He's still regarded that way. And in VH1's countdown of best artists, he made the top 5. But what you're about to see is that Jimi Hendrix was really not Jimi Hendrix. The power of Jimi Hendrix was a demon spirit, or more than one demon spirit, using him and channeling music through him, even as we saw earlier with Carlos Santana, who spoke of channeling the same music that Jimi Hendrix does. Let's check out this clip and see what happened in the 60s through music. Who claimed to be a voodoo child, stated, quote, things like witchcraft, which is a form of exploration and imagination that have been banned by the establishment and called evil, is because people are frightened to find out the full power of the mind. The satanic powers Hendrix unleashed through his music, though, were absolutely destructive. Jimi Hendrix opened himself up to demonic beings who used him to initiate the hippie youth into the counterculture revolution. Alan Douglas, the executive curator of Hendrix's musical estate, admitted his spirit possession.
Now, one of the biggest things about Jimmy was what he believed, and he believed that he was possessed by some spirit, and I got to believe it myself, and that's what we had to deal with all the time. And he was very humble about discussing it with people because he didn't want people to feel like he was being pretentious and so on, but he really believed it, and he was wrestling with it constantly.
Jimi Hendrix's live-in girlfriend, Fane Pridgen, also spoke of Hendrix's admission to being demon-possessed and related his demon possession to the reception of his music.
He used to always talk about some devil or something was in him, you know, and he didn't have any control over it. He didn't know what made him act the way he acted and what made him say the things he said and songs and different things like that just come out of him, you know. But at first I used to think it was a cop-out when he had really done me in, right? And he would say, I don't know what come over me, you know. I really can't understand it. And, you know, he used to just, you know, grab his hair or something, or pull his hair and just stand there or cry or something. Oh, Lord, it was so sad when he would cry. Maybe he was the first man, or maybe the only man that I've ever seen cry, you know, but it just killed me when he cried because he felt like, it seems like to me he was so tormented and just torn apart, and like he really was obsessed, you know, with something really evil, you know. And he said, you know, like you're from Georgia, you know, he said I should know how, you know, people drive demons. He actually thought about, you know, if we ever go, because I used to talk about my grandmother and all her weird stuff, you know, and he used to talk about us going down there and having some root lady or somebody see if she could drive this demon out of him.
Make a whole lot of money. Gonna be big, yeah.
Blues master B.B. King said, quote, as a musician, Robert Johnson had it all.
I think he's the greatest folk blues guitar player that ever lived, and the greatest singer, the greatest writer. You know, you think you're getting a handle on playing the blues, and then to hear Johnson, you say, whoa, there's a long way to go yet. It's still the most powerful cry that I think you can find in music of the human voice.
Blues master and Johnson's mentor, Son House, said of him before Johnson's transformation, he sat at our feet and played during the break, and such another racket you've never heard. Son House said he made the audiences mad with his racket. Son House went on to say of Johnson before he made his alleged pact with Satan that he was a talentless and even an irritating guitar player.
But he followed me and Willie around on Saturday night, Willie Brown. And every time we stopped for rest and sit there, little guitar over in the corner or something and go out to catch air, you know, get the guitar and be trying to play it and be just noising the people, you know. And the folks would come out and say, why don't some of y'all go in there and make that boy put that thing down, he running us crazy. Finally, he run off from his father and mother. He went over in Arkansas or someplace. Well, he was gone about 6 to 8 months. months.
It was during this period of 6 to 8 months that it is said that he made his pact with Satan on the crossroads of Highway 49 and 61 in Clarksdale, Mississippi. It was at these crossroads where the legendary experiences of Johnson trading in his eternal soul for temporary fame was said to have taken place in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Well, they say he sold himself to the devil, and that's what they say.
I heard a lot of people say that he sold himself to the devil, went to the crossroads, and all that.
After Johnson's alleged pact with Satan, everything changed as Johnson went from being the worst blues guitarist in a matter of months to the best. Some musicians who knew Johnson claimed that Johnson himself admitted that he sold his soul to Satan.
He said he done that, went to the crossroads.
Son House said that when Johnson returned after 6 to 8 months, everything changed as Johnson was transformed almost before their very eyes.
He come back. When he come back, me and Willie Brown was playing out there, and he walked in. He said, can I hit a record too? I said, nah, don't come back with that, Robert. I said, you know that people don't want to hear that record. He said, definitely let them say what they want to say. I want you to see what I learned.
Son House said when he finished, all of our mouths were standing open. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. Son House declared emphatically, quote, he sold his soul to the devil to play like that.
Please read this video.
Forward.
Your stairway lies on the whispering wind.
Forward it says, and your stairway lies on the whispering wind. Backwards it says, cause I live with Satan. Listen carefully. The demons lift up because this isn't Led Zeppelin. This is spiritism and spirits working through Robert Plant. Backwards they lift up the backwards path. Backwards it says, here's to my sweet Satan. Did you hear that? Listen carefully. It says, I want to live it backwards like the Zepp, whose power is Satan. Did you hear that? Then it says, he will give you 666. Raise your hands if you heard that. Okay, it's quite obvious and it's quite clear.
That's their stairway.
I struggle with some of the lyrics from particular periods of time, and I don't know, the musicality and the construction of it is peerless.
Look at the ring he's wearing on his pinky
Maybe I didn't
finger.
quite feel the same
Do you not
about
know
the
that's
lyrics
a
a little bit later on in life as I got a bit further down the road.
No, you do.
Maybe I'm still trying to work out what I was talking about.
These men are very high levels of Freemasonry.
Maybe you're channeling, Robert. Channeling is a good one, yeah. Owen Glyndŵr is, that's where it came from, yeah.
We have already seen that Page admitted I've employed Crowley's system into my own day-to-day life, and that is the way big names are made these days. Crowley's system was to establish contact with demons, spirits. The biography Hammer of the Gods states that Jimmy spent his days in his suite with his shades drawn and candles lit. He spent enough to go away and think about them. Robert Plant admitted Page had written the chords and played them for me. I was holding the paper and there is yet another intelligible message. This satanic phenomena goes far beyond the scope of human ingenuity and is demonically inspired. The group was touring in America. He states that Philip Hill, a photographer, friend of Jimmy Page's, died at one of Page's homes after ingesting too much morphine. happening? What the blank is going on? One disc jockey from Detroit believed that all these tragedies were a no-brainer and provided Plant with what he believed to be the obvious answer. He stated,
Please go back through here and watch this when you get time.
But I am. When I said, you must have had some good luck. Well, he says, there's no such thing as good luck. He says, there's either some power working for you somewhere, or you don't get ahead in this world. Not in my type of occupation. So it went from there. We got talking about spirit worship.
Did it intrigue you? Did it make you want to find out more about what exactly he was talking about?
Yeah. So he said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. Your fallen angels. You're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like
Oh, yeah.
It didn't make you uneasy when he said they were...
Well, you know, it shocked you a little bit, you know? Something that you first hear mentioned to you. He said, you guys have got a great future ahead of you. Because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too.
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. They're just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing. He said among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood.
Your friend, George, took you and Roland to this mansion where people worshipped the demons. What was it like there? What kind of people were there?
Well, it was a big surprise for me, as I kind of made up in my mind an idea that they were going to be rough-looking characters, legions of spirits, of demon spirits, and they talk about what the Lord of their lives has done for them. The medical doctor that was telling us how he was making operations that had never been made before because people had to be awake, yet have no feeling. He was able to, carry on the surgeries that had not been done before. But the spirits would give that capacity to be able to operate without people feeling any pain and things. And also without no problem with the blood, because as he would cut his incision, because his incisions, everything open and with no blood running. So he could do the work that has not been done before.
It's crazy how the computers are so much power.